I'm here to tell you, don't do it. I'm here to tell you, save yourself. I'm giving the abusers the warning. I'm giving my girly girls who know they need to leave and know you being manipulated, know you being gaslit, know you being used, know you being abused. I'm giving you the warning. Don't do it. Get out before it's too late. Plan your exit strategy. Plan your escape. You better become Harriet Tubman up in this piece.
If someone would have told me I was getting a divorce at age 56, leaving my home and my business, I would have told them they was a lie and the truth ain't it. Well, this is my divorce story.
Equal here, Mama T, the OG. And I want to welcome you to Life After Divorce show. I want to speak a little bit about abuse and my warning to anyone in a relationship, whatever that relationship is, whether it's same sex, whether it is a, polygamous relationship, polyamorous relationship, whatever your choice of relationship status, this is definitely a warning. Why am I bringing this warning? Because many times people see and look at abuse. Most of society looks at abuse as only being physical. But abuse many times is unseen and unheard. Abuse isn't always a slap in the face, a punch in the gut, a black eye, or a bruise. Abuse comes through reducing one's self-worth, manipulation, triangulation, gaslighting, lying, betrayal, dishonesty, even keeping information hidden from your partner. Information that needs to be talked about, that needs to be discussed. That also is a form of abuse. Because without information, many people can't choose for themselves. They can't make a clear judgment about what they want to do moving forward with that circumstance or a situation. And a lot of people feel like because they've held personal information and they don't want to share it, that, that's not considered betrayal. But if you ask me, that's still a lie. It's a lie. The fact that I am not aware of some behaviors and some things that you're doing that can impact my decision on if I want to be here or not is manipulation. It's trickery. And I notice people do that and they don't consider that abuse, right? Abuse comes in so many forms. It comes with so many levels of uncertainty. Many times we're being abused in relationships, and a lot of times we don't know it because it hasn't caught up with us yet. It hasn't caught up in a way where we have we're clearly aware of it because we're in the midst of the emotion of the relationship. So we don't have the clarity that the behavior that we're experiencing from our significant other is abuse. Now, why did I say this is a warning to the abuser? Because many times there are women in relationships and they are being abused and they are unaware that they're being abused. However, there is still abuse going on. Just because a person is unaware of the abuse does not mean they're not being abused. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Just because a person isn't clear about the abuse that they are experiencing does not mean they are not being abused. Just because it haven't clicked for them yet, just because they haven't figured it out, does not mean they're being abused. And so the impact is still happening. I remember telling my ex-husband when he used to say, well, I'm not hitting you though. And I said, it still doesn't mean that I'm not experiencing abuse. It still does not mean that you're not abusive. This is abusive. I know abuse. Now, let me tell you something and be real clear about this shit. Those of you who are chronic abusers are abusers in every relationship you've been in and continue to abuse. People, places, things. Just an abuser. You abuse friendships. You abuse family members. You abuse love relationships. You always taking shit and pushing the envelope. You just what he called it, a habitual line stepper. For you habitual line stepping having ass motherfuckers. Okay, for y'all, let me be real clear. The impact of abuse has an expiration date, beloved. I've met a lot of women who have experienced abuse time and time again. And what do I mean by it has an expiration? It has an expiration date and an expiration time, meaning that at some point, that person that you're abusing can snap. Yeah. Yes. Especially if she sees no way out, or if you've just pushed her to a point in an area of her mental stability where she cannot take it anymore. Is a time in a place where that woman will snap. She will snap on your ass. Let me explain my situation. My situation went like this. I'm constantly, speaking about this is abusive, this is abuse, I don't like this, I don't like the way this makes me feel, I need you to change, honey, we need to go to counseling, we need to do this, we need to do that. And this nigga was still in denial. He was in denial with it all. He did not want to admit none of it. He was in denial with everything. So, I'm married. Part of me is feeling stuck. He knew that. And that's one of the reasons he married me. Was to keep me in that hostage situation. Right? However, you are not in a hostage situation if you have a way out. Let's be real clear. So they can try to put you in a hostage situation all they want. You are not in a hostage situation if you have a way out. So that means stop making excuses on why you cannot leave. Because guess what? If push come to motherfucking shove, I will go to the women's shelter before I continue to allow somebody continue to abuse me, gaslight me, manipulate me, and drain all my resources on top of that. Like, there is help out there. And I'm going to put the women's shelter help, domestic violence help in the description. There is help out there. You don't have to sit and accept all of that. They will help you create a safe space in place for you and your children. And the reason I said there's an exit is because we're going to need to exit before you snap, beloved. Before you snap. You know, in the 1600s, they had a lady by the name of Julia Tofana. And she made an elixir, which was a poison. And she helped women in Italy leave abusive marriages. Yeah. Yes. Rest in power, Julia Tofana. And then they have the Mothers of Angels or Women of Angels, I believe it is. It was women out of Russia. Okay? And it was about 6 of them. And they also created an elixir to help women get out of abusive marriages. I truly believe I'm from that lineage. I truly believe I'm from that lineage. I'm going to show y'all this video. I want y'all to check this out.
Before women had divorce, they had poison. In 1600s Italy, Giulia Tofana created aqua tofana. It was a tasteless and odorless poison disguised as face cream, then sold it to women trapped in abusive marriages. Over 600 men allegedly died before the church caught on. Her front, a cosmetics brand. Her formula, arsenic, lead, and belladonna. So basically, it was a Sephora for murder. Baba Anushka from Serbia, 1830s to 1930s. She lived to 100 while running a rural poison shop. Iconic. She sold love potions to desperate housewives, except it was just arsenic and herb. And the angel makers of Nagarev in 1920s Hungary. Just a little girl gang led by a midwife named Susanna. They used flypaper arsenic to unalive abusive husbands. Hundreds of men died. After this, husbands became much nicer. And this is why men should stop complaining about divorce rates, because at least you're not dead.
But listen to this. Why do I believe I'm from that lineage? Because I've watched this video probably 65, 68, 78 times. And each time my heart gets elated with joy. Why does my heart get elated with joy? Because even then, when they had no such thing as divorce, women empowered themselves to get free, to get out of it, to break out of it. They said no more. They took it upon themselves and they found their right to be happy, to be free. Without control, to be free of feeling like property and feeling stuck and imprisoned. You see how I'm smiling? When I tell you I'm of that lineage. And let me tell you why else I know I'm of that lineage. And this is my warning to the abuser. The reason I know I'm of that lineage is because for 3 months, first off, let me do a disclaimer. If anything is to happen to my ex from this point on, I have nothing to do with that. I have not spoken to him since I told him about the divorce papers on August 1st. I have blocked him from everything. We have no association or anything. So let me put that disclaimer out there right now. So if anything happens to him, or if there's any type of fishy, anything happens to him fishy where, he comes up missing or whatever, I have nothing to do with it. Okay? I'm putting a disclaimer out there right now. But let me tell you, while we were together though, and I can admit this, while we were together for the last 3 months, I watched stories on TV where women were taking it upon themselves to get up out of abusive relationships. For 3 months. For 3 months. So my mind, my emotional state, and my energetic body was on that edge. You get what I'm saying? It was on that edge. And every day that I went downstairs for those last 3 months, and I would see him downstairs in the kitchen, I would just look at him, and I would look at how sure of himself he was, how bold, how confident he was that he had me, that I wasn't going anywhere, that he could talk to me crazy, and he could just take advantage of my kindness, my love, my resources, and how he had became so arrogant in his position now with me. And I thought about how I left my home in Louisiana and came to Atlanta with him, and how arrogant and condescending he became after our ceremony. It was about 5 years in. So it started building up, but I went ahead and did the ceremony, thinking that maybe this is what we needed in order to tap back into that love reservoir, right? Don't do it. Don't spend the money. Don't waste your money. Okay? But for 3 months, it was on my mind. And I knew I was on the edge. And that's when I really made the decision. And I told myself, bitch, you want to get up out of this. You want to get up out of this because you want to prison. It had got to a point where I was thinking about how I had to get up out of this because I was going to go to prison. I was getting comfortable with feeling that I was going to prison. And once I began feeling comfortable that I was going to be sitting in prison for doing what I felt I needed to do, that's when I knew, baby, it's time to get the fuck up out of here. Sis, protect yourself. If your situation feels unsafe, contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline. It's 24/7 confidential. It's time to get up out of here because you gonna hurt him or he gonna hurt you trying to protect yourself. It's time to get up out of here. I was at that point. And the point I'm trying to make here is that he was walking around all smiles, had no clue what was going on up in here and here. So that's my warning to you abusers out there. Just because you feel like you getting away with abusing your partner, don't think it's going unnoticed and unclocked. Women, if you on the edge and on the brink of doing some nasty, cold, diabolical shit, pack your shit and leave. Escape. Exit. Especially those of you with children. Because the last thing they need is to be out here with an abusive father while you didn't try to do something to annihilate him, and now you in prison. So it goes back to a lot of y'all abusers be real comfortable. A little too comfortable for me. A little too comfortable.
This kind of makes me happy.
I want to send my love and my blessings to those of you who have removed yourself from that abusive situation and from doing prison time. I honor you and I support you. Check out my new ebook, It's free. From heartbreak to happiness. 10 steps on how to get through divorce. Also, if you are over 40 and divorced or divorcing, join us over on Facebook at the Rebirth Collective Community, where we are reliving, reinventing, and rejoicing in the love for ourselves after divorce. I am Tracey Bryant, known as Tracey the Sacred CEO, Mama Tita OG, and I love you. And understand that you deserve love, life, happiness after divorce. But don't let no nigga take you there, because it ain't worth it.